Hello, I'm Dave Deno, and this is Sponsor Spotlight. If you look around, maybe just a little bit over to the side of where you're listening to your radio right now, you might notice a person there, maybe a guard. Well, we've put him there wherever you are listening today because we are going to have, and you'll hear me picking it up right now, we are going to have valuable gold, real gold on your radio. Right now, I am holding several gold coins and a gold bar. That should be a clue that we're going to talk about the value of gold. And I think even more valuable in this day and age. We're going to be talking with Ken Russo. He is an executive vice president with Midas Gold. And I have to tell you that Midas Gold has a reputation of being the nation's most reputable gold dealer. And what we're going to talk about today is earning and preserving your wealth, particularly in light of world events that we have seen recently, that we have seen in the past, and that we know from the past will continue to occur here and there in the future. Events that will affect your wealth, will affect your quality of life. So, I'm first of all very, very happy to welcome you, Ken, to the program. It's great to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Dave.
You have brought us physical gold, and we're going to talk about the value of physical gold, but I want to talk, even before we get into the reason for buying it, I just want to talk about what happens when a person actually holds gold in their hands, when they hold wealth in their hands. It's one thing for you and I to talk about it. It's another thing for me to have these heavy gold coins in my hands. I've got 2 coins. What are they worth?
Those are worth close to $2,000 a piece for 1 ounce of gold. Gold is over $1,700 per ounce, and if you're looking at a bar or a coin, you're talking about $100 or $200 over that price for a physical product.
These are beautiful coins.
They are.
Gold coins are absolutely stunning. Describe this large one that I'm holding for a moment.
One of those is a 1 ounce Liberty coin. Now, that was real money before 1933. The other coin is a 1 ounce gold maple leaf, which is referred to as a bullion coin. Mm-hmm. And the other product is a 1 ounce bar, which is also referred to as a bullion product. And I don't want to talk specifically about too much about the price of gold or why it's been going up. Mm-hmm. But what I do want to talk about is real money.
Right.
And what over thousands of years has been considered real money versus what's going on today. I want people to realize what is going on today, because most people don't understand what's going on.
Well, let's set the table for that for just a moment here. You're listening to Sponsor Spotlight, and I'm talking with Ken Russo from Midas Gold. In a moment, by the way, we're going to talk with Zena Bell from Salem Media. She's got an interesting perspective on gold companies that I want you to hear. But let's set the stage. We have gone through a tumultuous time, but we have been able to say that before. I mean, I can look back on my life and I can see all of these various times in my history when we have seen unexpected world events or unexpected national events that suddenly impacted people's wealth. We just saw the stock market drop 30% over the course of a week or two when the COVID pandemic hit. Now, we've had other world events that have hit that have also affected the stock market. That really got people's attention. If my money was in Wall Street, I could have lost 30% of my, well, maybe retirement savings or just my wealth that I want for some project in the future, as opposed to having physical gold and having my investments in that. So where do we begin? How do we put those two things together?
Well, first of all markets, we believe, offer opportunity. Mm-hmm. All markets go through peaks and all markets go through valleys. All markets go through a period of being undervalued and all markets go through a period of being overvalued. Mm-hmm. We've had problems in the economy before COVID. We've discussed that where mm-hmm. debt is a big problem. It seems that every single problem that comes up, whether it be a virus, an overheated stock market, a overvalued real estate market, political problems, social unrest, the only solution is to print money. That seems to be the only tool in the toolbox. So the situation right now is that's not an ideal situation for everyone. Everyone is not willing to risk their nest egg, their savings, what they've worked 20 or 30 years for, on that particular scenario. For some people, it's too much of a gamble. It's too volatile. So in my educational experience with gold, and what we try to do is we try to teach people what some of their options may be. How could they protect themselves from that volatility? How could they prepare for the future? And how could they preserve some of the wealth that they've saved and accumulated? Not everybody wants to continue to be in that type of environment or gamble, casino, stock market mentality. The swings are just too big. And I would say that would be a good place to kind of start thinking about gold.
You know, we look at this whole issue of what's going on now, but then we look down the road. This is a particularly unsettled year. We hit the COVID pandemic. We are now in the midst of a lot of social unrest. We have national elections coming up that, frankly, scare a lot of people if there is a significant shift in the power that runs our country. And then we look at how that is going to affect money that I have invested, money that I have set aside, that I'm counting on for retirement. Maybe I've got even some sort of a pension plan. And people are even wondering about those, whether they're going to be able to weather all that is going on. The things that we counted on the most are being shaken. The foundations of those are being shaken in our minds. Then we add to that, the government is doling out billions of dollars. They're just giving away money. They've already done it. They are talking about doing it still. And we're wondering, where is that money going to come from? So the future looks very, very unsettled for a lot of people.
The writing's on the wall. I don't think it's a question of if it's going to happen, but I think it's a question of when. When could the financial system come down? And that's not acceptable to every single investor. Now, there are investors out there that are willing to risk their nest egg in an environment like that. But there's others who are not. And we are here to educate those people who want to preserve their wealth. We believe at Midas Gold Group, and we would encourage people to come down. If you're in Phoenix, come down. If you're in Thousand Oaks, California, come down. We do business in all 50 states. Give us a call, and Dave could give you the number. But we would encourage people at this point to be very strong financially, mentally, and physically over the next 10 years. We believe this is going to be a decade to preserve wealth. We do not believe it's a decade of risk. We've seen unlimited money printing in the last few years. They've printed trillions of dollars in the last couple of months out of thin air just to keep the market up where it is, the economy. Not everyone is comfortable investing, risking their nest egg on hope. If you're not comfortable with risking your nest egg on hope, gold may be a way to diversify, a way to protect yourself against the falling dollar. We're here to educate people who want to learn about gold, physical gold.
We're going to talk more about the value of gold in just a moment. We're talking with Kenneth Russo from Midas Gold. He is an executive vice president. The number for you to call, I'm asking a few questions. You, I'm sure, have your own very specific questions. You can call the Midas Gold Group, and they will take whatever amount of time is necessary to answer your questions. Here's the number, and I hope you will write this down. I hope you will call them. It is 805-601-6000. 805-601-6000. If you want to look them up on the web, they are very easy to find. MidasGoldGroup.com. MidasGoldGroup.com. But make sure that you grab that phone number and make sure you give them a call and talk with them in person. You can even, as Ken has said, you can even visit them at their offices in person. They're in Thousand Oaks. They're in Phoenix as well. You can visit their offices as well. Call them at 805-601-6000. Okay, so we've set the stage, we've talked about what's going on. Is gold the answer?
Gold has doubled in price since 1971 every 7 years.
Wow.
The United States has doubled its debt since 1971 every 8 years. So as you can see, there's a correlation. The more money printed, the more money taken out as debt, the more money that the United States and the government borrows, gold keeps up with the cost of living. We believe gold will go substantially higher in the next 10 years, maybe $5,000, $10,000 an ounce.
Wow.
But that's not why we do it. Mm-hmm. Why we do it is the threat to the dollar is real. Mm-hmm. The amount of money they've printed and will print is ridiculous. It's reckless. Nobody has, when we talk about advisors and bankers, government officials, nobody has a real incentive to talk about how well gold has done, because it makes them look very bad. But the running of our financial system has been, and it's been a very poor job. Since 1971, the dollar's not backed by anything. We were taken off the gold standard by Richard Nixon, President Richard Nixon. And since then, money has been printed at historical and now unprecedented levels. And with the situation we're in, we feel that could only increase. The amount of money that will be created out of thin air globally. The whole world is printing money. There's not one strong fiat paper currency. The amount of money that will be created is not justifiable. It's not fixable. It's out of control. And unfortunately, the only thing that the central banks could do at this point is print more. And we will see more money printed very soon, which should cause the price of gold to go up pretty significantly.
The number to call if you want to talk to the folks at Midas Gold is 805-601-6000. 805-601-6000. Look them up on the web at MidasGoldGroup.com. We're talking with Ken Russo. He is an executive vice president at Midas Gold. We're going to talk with Zena Bell in just a few moments about Midas and her experience with a friend who has looked at a couple of gold companies, because the question you may have is, okay, I'm starting to get interested, but the big question is, who can I trust? Well, Midas has a reputation as the nation's most reputable gold dealer, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Investing in gold, it's something that most of us do not know anything about. And when we don't know something about something, we simply don't act. We do nothing. We stop. Because we're fearful. We're afraid of making a mistake. How does this process work? If I were to call you, how would you help me to understand the process and to go through the process?
Well, I would say that typically investors don't understand most of the things they're invested in. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much they understand CDs or annuities or mutual funds or bonds or that sort of thing. Gold is money. Gold has always been money for 5,000 years. It has always had value. But we believe everybody has a very unique situation, their own financial unique situation. We're more than willing to hold people's hands through the entire process, educate them about gold, give them options. We believe the more knowledge they have about something, the better decision that they could make. And gold should be something that every single American at this point should be at least considering as a way to protect what they've worked very hard for. We believe it's essential at this point. So we believe gold right now should be learned about, and we're more than happy to do that. And you're right, it's trust.
So if I have a 401k with my company, or I have an IRA, can I take a portion of that and transfer it with your help into gold?
If you have an old 401k at a previous employer, or you have an IRA, you can transfer those funds sideways, partially or in full, and own physical gold. If you have liquid money, a non-qualified account, savings account, regular stock account, you could always diversify a portion of those funds into physical gold that you could hold on to. And that's what we do every day. We are a gold dealer. If you have gold, you can do business with any gold dealer. If you have a gold IRA, you can do business with any gold dealer. And if you're new to gold, we would be more than happy to show anyone the process.
I don't want to trivialize the value of this by using the word easy, but I have a feeling that really you walked me through this, and you do make it easy for me to do this if I want to.
That's our job.
Wow.
We're veteran-owned. We're not conspiracy theorists. We're not pessimists. We're Americans. But we believe right now that the dollar is under threat. We believe that the nation is going through something where we're not united. There's a lot of unrest. And we believe the demand to make your nest egg bulletproof is more important now than ever. Gold is our specialty. We're gold specialists. So we would encourage people who want to learn about gold and how to protect a portion of their nest egg in gold. Give us a call. Come on down. That's what we do.
The number to call is 805-601-6000. 805-601-6000. On the web, MidasGoldGroup.com. MidasGoldGroup.com. But make sure you get that phone number, and make sure you call them and ask them your questions. Talk with them about your situation, and I think you'll be very satisfied, and I think that you will get the answers that you really need. 805-601-6000. I want to move over to Zena for just a moment, because we're talking about the reputation of a gold dealer. And you've heard me say that Midas has the reputation of being the nation's most reputable gold dealer. Zena Bell is with Salem Media. And Zena, we were talking before the program, and you were telling me a story, and it made such an impression on me that I made it a point of saying and twisting your arm to come on to the program and to tell us that story. You have a friend who wanted to buy gold, and I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. He actually is a workout buddy of mine that had heard the ads on the radio, and he said, I knew that I needed to investigate gold, but a few years prior, he had decided to go and look into gold, and he had such a bad experience that he said, I was in there 5 minutes and I turned around and walked out.
Wow.
And he said it just left such a bad taste in my mouth. But as he was looking at the world events, he's retired. He was thinking, I really should investigate this again. Mm-hmm. And because Midas was local, he figured he would pay him a visit in person. And he said, Zena, I literally walked in there and I had 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out the door, and I was going to give him a few minutes. And he said, he said, I was really prepared to turn around and walk out at the slightest feeling of being uncomfortable with it. And he said, I spent so much time with Ken, and he said he was so good at answering all my questions. He was so patient. He was so thorough. And he said, I was really, really impressed. And he said, so, I was so thrilled to be working with him and to have had that experience.
There you go, Ken. That's a true story that attests to your reputation and how you do business with people. That's gotta really make you feel good.
It does, but that's what people deserve. And we're talking about a gentleman that has over $1 million in the markets. He did more than 6 figures in gold. He trusts us, and I think it comes down to trust. I mean, for investors, how much do they trust the economy right now? How much do they trust the stock market? How much do they trust their money? How much do they trust real estate? And it's very important that people have somebody that they could rely on to talk to. And we would encourage people to come down and give us a call.
We've talked about how people can go about the process of transferring money over so that they can have gold. But let's talk for a moment about the different ways they can have gold. We touched at the very beginning of the program on only one way that they can own gold, and that is kind of the way I like the best, and that is to actually say, okay, send me my gold. I want to hold it. I want to be able to look at it from time to time. However, having said that, I'm not just going to throw it in a drawer in my home. I'm going to keep it in a very safe place because this is very valuable. This is not the only way to own gold. It is one way, right? You can actually send me the physical gold, and then I'm responsible for safeguarding it, right?
We believe if you don't hold it, you don't own it. You know,
it's gold you can hold. I
absolutely.
like that.
It's we would encourage people based on today's financial system to really consider getting money out of the banking system, getting money out of the financial markets, something that they could own free and clear, where there's no third party counter risk. Nothing's digital. Nothing's on a ledger. Right. Something that they can put somewhere, keep it safe. If they need to get to it, they can get to it.
So I can get it and keep it in a safe deposit box.
Well, we would encourage people to put it anywhere where they feel that's safe. It may be a safe deposit box. It may be in their own home. It may be at a depository. It may be buried in the backyard. We would encourage people, once again, to have control of some of their money. And that definition is a little bit different for everyone. Some people like to put it in their gun safe. It just kind of depends on where you're comfortable. And we feel that you should at least have a portion of your money that you understand and you're comfortable. And for some people, that means gold.
What if I'm not comfortable actually having the gold in my possession? I'm just not secure about its safety. Do you have other ways that I can still buy the gold and own it?
Well, yes, but you have to also ask yourself, are you comfortable with all your money at the bank? Are you comfortable with all your money at the stockbroker? But we do have relationships with different depositories throughout the United States that are very safe and secure. And if a client is open to that, that may be something that they may want to do. But again, resources, education, information, choices, options. You know, how do you sidestep the next financial crisis? All of these things will give people the opportunity to make the best possible decision for them and their family. And we believe gold should be a part of that.
We're talking with Ken Russo. He is an executive vice president with Midas Gold Group. You can talk with Midas, and I encourage you to do so, particularly in these unsettled times. Not only the ones that we have gone through, the ones that we are in the midst of, but the ones that loom out on the horizon as well. You can call them and talk with them at 805-601-6000, 805-601-6000. Look them up online at the MidasGoldGroup.com, MidasGoldGroup.com. But make sure you get that phone number and give them a call, 805-601-6000. They actually have locations in both Thousand Oaks, California, and Phoenix, Arizona. So you can literally walk into their offices and you can talk with them in person. You can do a face-to-face. As we get out of the whole COVID isolation, it's kind of nice to be able to talk to people face-to-face. So make it a point of contacting them, 805-601-6000. We just have about a minute or so left, and I want to get back to the value of gold and how it holds its value, how it grows its value. Now, I know, like every person who handles invested money, you cannot say it is going to do this. I get that. You can't guarantee. But what about gold's value? I mean, it just continues to increase, doesn't it?
It continues to keep up with the cost of living. It continues to keep up with what the dollar loses. You know, a Big Mac in 1975 cost 68 cents. It's the same Big Mac today, and it costs $5 or $6. Why is that? It's because our dollar always buys less. Gold seems to have a long, reliable track record of keeping up with the cost of living. Whatever the dollar loses, gold goes up in price. When the government takes out debt, gold goes up in price. When the Fed takes on assets to its balance sheet, gold goes up in price. We feel that all of those things will continue, and gold will reflect that.
You're listening to Sponsor Spotlight. That's Ken Russo, Executive Vice President at Midas Gold. You got a chance to hear from Zena Bell from Salem Media, talking a little bit about her experience regarding gold companies as well. Midas Gold Group is an amazing group. They are very American. They're veteran-owned and operated. They have a reputation of being the nation's most reputable gold dealer. Call them, 805-601-6000. 805-601-6000. You can check them out online at MidasGoldGroup.com. MidasGoldGroup.com. But again, call them at 805-601-6000. I'm Dave Deno, and this has been Sponsor Spotlight.